You are now back behind enemy lines. Hey there, how you doing, everybody? Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. How's everybody doing? Gene Berardelli, Ross Galloway here with you. Ross, you're sporting a new hat. What's this all about?
I'm trying to send a message to any of our South Carolina fans. You know what you have to do this year.
I mean, I'm not against it. I'll say that much.
It's time to clean house.
Something we'll certainly get into. I mean, does the sentiment? Oh my God, the shine. Does the sentiment even extend to Nancy Mace? Because I know you have vendetta there as well, don't you?
Oh, I am no Nancy Mace fan, by the way, and I know that we're not going to really talk a lot about South Carolina tonight, people. But ever since that little kerfuffle over in the airport, she's in last place in the polls in South Carolina for the governor's race. So we might be able to get rid of her this year too.
Oh, my goodness. Well, obviously, we're setting up the themes for the new year, but we do have a good friend coming in to join us right now.
So I want to thank you all for being here. And now, who am I introducing next? Who's next?
Me, that's who. Wait, where'd the volume go? I can't hear you guys anymore. What just happened? That's weird.
But that's okay.
Wait, there you are.
There we go. Hey, he got the shit to work. Look at that. How you doing?
That wasn't me. That wasn't me. I just stopped fucking with it.
It wasn't me. Well, I thought we saw you on the counter. It wasn't you. Saw you banging on the sofa. It wasn't you.
It wasn't me.
Anyway,
how you doing?
Listen, Happy New Year, man. It's been a minute.
Happy New Year. Yeah, well, it's been a crazy few months for me. I had a lot of stuff going sideways. So.
Okay. Do you want to share? Is this therapy now? Is this what we do here? I mean,
no therapy. But one of the reasons you haven't heard from me much is I lost my kid brother in November, so my life's been kind of sideways.
Crap! Way to bring the shit down, man. We're looking to have some fun.
You're welcome.
Lighten the mood. Very sorry for your loss, man. Yeah, that sucks. We've got people pouring into the room right now, guys. If you want to hang out with us in the chat, we're not like all those hoity-toity shows where you got to do a super chat to like participate with us. Hang out with us. We'll be checking the chats regularly. If you want to just chill and do whatever, we're happy to hear what you guys have to say. Of course, if you do a super chat, we will certainly appreciate that and put you to the top of the line. And of course, as I'm trying to help out and get you guys participating, we get Ross saying that. Great. See, 2026 is going to be a lot like 2025. Whatever, man. So, as people are rolling in, and I'm glad to see you rolling, guys. Whatever. We're going to be talking about a lot of different topics, as you see in the description of the video. We got a lot of the M's going on. We got Mamdani. We got Minnesota. We got all the other miscreants going on. Maduro throw in there as well. There's a lot going on. But I do have some breaking news right now. I don't know if you guys know this, but Maduro has been transferred from New York to D.C. In fact, we got some late breaking news on this. Check this out. That's where he's being held now. I don't know if that would be perfect. That was actually a thing. I don't know if that makes Trump Jabba or Vader, but either way, that's where he is. And yeah, it's this whole Maduro thing has really thrown a monkey wrench in the works of the left, guys. We haven't talked about what happened with this overnight action by the DOJ with the assistance of the military and the Department of War. Ross, first thoughts on this whole thing? We haven't really talked about this. What do you make of all this?
Of what specifically with the Department of War?
Well, what did you think about the planning of the action itself, and why people are losing their ever-loving minds about it?
Well, I mean, I'm actually very curious to hear what Rick thinks about this. But, as usual, the Trump administration doesn't do the best job of communicating. Yes, the Department of War had obviously a major role in this, but this was a lot like the Noriega one, which I'm not saying whether or not I agree with this tactic, but they were indicted by a federal court in the United States and wind up with arrest warrants, right? So, how can the FBI or the U.S. Marshals go get them without the Department of War supporting them? I don't know what to make of it. Obviously, flawless. It was a great operation. Clearly, there was coordination prior to, and I don't mean like just training for the Department of War. I mean, there's no way they got in there, knew exactly where he would be. We didn't take any casualties. Like, intelligence agencies were working with people on the ground in Venezuela, obviously, to turn over Maduro. And then I guess the question that has to be asked at some point in the future is, Democrats always claim they want people to have due process. Well, Trump listened, and now they got this guy indicted, and they went and got him so he can stand trial with a lawyer here instead of just getting like a drone attack and killing him.
Yeah, well, I can add a little backfill on the legal end of things about why this actually does have precedent. And you mentioned Manuel Noriega and what happened in 1990. So just real quick before we get to Rick's reaction, the whole thing about the legality of all this is that there is substantial precedent with this action. Like Maduro, Manuel Noriega was not a head of state. It was not a legally recognized head of state. In fact, the Biden administration didn't recognize Maduro as a head of state in Venezuela because of the election that took place, an independently verified election that took place. And yeah, he's not a head of state. So you can go in there and you can get him if you have the permission from the government, or even if you don't. We didn't have permission to go get Noriega, but we did have a warrant, just like we had indictment and warrants out for Maduro. So as far as whether or not this was legal or not, the 11th Circuit in U.S. versus Noriega said, if you're not a head of state, you don't get that immunity. And that's why all these phony baloney comparisons about what are we going to go after, the Prime Minister of Canada? Are we going to go after this one and that one? Are we going for Putin? No, because they're all recognized heads of state and they have that immunity under the law. One comment I want to highlight here. This is from, and forgive me for, I have to switch to see it. IB things, stuff more. 9513, why would American laws apply off American soil? That's not how it works. I assume you wanted to say, come on, man. Well, we can talk about the international law in a second, but again, the treaties or the international law involving heads of state are different than they are when you are not a head of state, when you are a usurper, when you are a narco-terrorist dictator. So, Rick, go ahead. I'll let you talk here, and we'll put this comment up ahead.
So one of the things that I absolutely love about this is what a difference 5 years makes, because in 2020, every single Democrat was screaming and yelling about how this was an illegal election and he shouldn't be recognized, and why isn't Donald Trump doing anything about this? And 5 years plus later, Donald Trump does something about it. Now, all of a sudden, they've kidnapped President Maduro. 5 years ago, you said he wasn't president. Why are you using that?
He's not president. Don't call him president. He is not a president. In fact, he lost an election. He's not a president.
But yeah, no, I mean, seriously, it's just funny watching them because, like I said, 5 years ago, every single one of them, even Chris the Cheese Square Murphy all over X was talking about how Donald Trump wasn't doing enough about Maduro. And then now 5 years later, Trump does something about Maduro, and the Cheese Squares all over CNN and PMS Now screaming that this was an illegal action, blah, 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 blah. First of all, look, let's again discuss the War Powers Act of 1970, whatever the hell year it was, because the president is allowed to do it intermittent action, even if it involves heavy artillery and everything else, for a certain amount of time before he has to go to Congress. So even if we're willing to say this was a military action, which it was not, this was the enforcement of a warrant with military backup was all it was. We were in and out inside of an hour. I said this because I didn't even know this was happening, because this was during the time that I was unplugged, and I came back and this was like the next day and everything was blowing up. And I'm like, dude, there's only 3 times in history that I've ever heard of anything going anywhere near this quickly. One was the 6-Day War in Israel. Then there was sometime in 1840 something when Britain invaded some tiny little piss-stand country and kicked their ass in 34 minutes.
And well, this was definitely no pissant country. I mean, from what I understand, Maduro was in a bunker, basically, on a military base. Again, I really admire the planning and the execution by our armed forces, Ross. This was freaking clean. No one got hurt. No one was killed on our end. In and out overnight. I mean, this is impressive.
Flawless, right? Me personally, I'm not like the whole due process and legal precedent thing. I don't care about any of that either. I'm okay with a drone strike, right? Like, and I'm okay. Like, first of all, let's just set the table real quick for anyone that might be thinking this. There is no such thing as international law, right? That's not a real thing. People like keep mentioning this and claiming that what we're doing is illegal, right? Like, the president is the commander in chief. He can absolutely use military force because it's not a declaration of war. He didn't declare war in Venezuela. Every president uses the military for limited operations. So this is well within his Article 2 powers. There is no such thing as international law. I actually wish that, Maduro was not sitting in New York, that will face a New York jury and possibly get found not guilty. That would be the biggest disaster that can possibly come from any of this, right? And I just want to say this real quick too, because I said this a few shows ago, and I just want to make sure it's on the record again. I truly don't believe that the Trump administration is doing any of this over oil or drugs. Okay, like those are good stories, and
come on, no, hold on.
I'm going to say it. I think that this guy Maduro is going to cut a deal, and the 2020 stolen election runs right through Venezuela. And that is the only reason why, whether it's true or not, that Trump would do something like this, right? Because otherwise he would have started in Colombia or Mexico, right? That's the only thing that makes sense. And to take him alive, because that makes no sense.
Yeah, well, I'm going to push back on a second, but I do want to address some of the things that IB Thing Sophomore 9513 is saying, because honestly, I can understand his take. I get it. He's saying that the first one on the screen, it's not even Iraq with Congress's blessing, not even that illegal. Why don't you care about the law? I do care about the law, and that's why I looked up the law. And I actually put a link to the law in the chat for the case of U.S. versus Noriega and how this is legal. You can certainly read about it. Now, if you want to go and say, I hate the Constitution, you're certainly free to think that. I don't mind. I got big shoulders. Not as big as I used to, because I'm down 30 pounds from the last show, which is freaking awesome, by the way. But yeah. And then we get funny comments like this. I'm on a strict diet of salted peas. Do I have any recommendations? I've actually been on a soup diet for the past 2.5, 3 months. And I've dropped down to the lowest weight I've been at since high school. So it doesn't look like it, but there's been progress made there. I would recommend that for you, my friend Krygon Jin 7692. So
I just realized that was Ross yelling. I just realized that was Ross yelling at somebody else about knowing nothing about the Constitution. I was about to get cranky.
Oh yeah, well no, I mean, I thought somebody can battle it out in the chat all you want. But I do want to push back.
I thought somebody else in the chat was saying that the three of us didn't know anything about the Constitution.
I'm like, between the three of us, we know we know a thing or three, basically. Hey, Jerifax51, thank you, man. Man or woman, I don't want to misgender you. That's not the kind of show. I appreciate the encouragement. So listen, I want to push back on what Ross was saying about the oil and how this isn't about oil. Well, listen, it certainly isn't about getting a good recipe for arepas. It is about oil, but it is also about geopolitical balance. Russia is there in Venezuela for the oil. China is there for the oil. Everyone and their mother is there for the oil in Venezuela. So let's not pretend that this is all altruism. We need to get paid off in one way or another for this action. So, yeah, it is about the oil. It may not be primarily and only about the oil, but it certainly is about geopolitical positioning and certainly domestic policy as well. As people have been saying in the chat, Biden talked a good game about Venezuela and did nothing. Trump accomplished it. Ross, I'll let you get the reply on that, and then we'll.
Listen, I agree with you. I'm saying oil is not the primary motivating factor, right? It's definitely part of it. Don't forget, like, you could put my conspiracy theory election stuff aside for a second, but also don't forget that Maduro and Chavez both refused to take illegal immigrants back when we were deporting them, right? Don't think that didn't like irk Trump since he took office again, right? He made it very clear that they're going to take their rapists, murderers, insane asylum, the people that they sent here, Nicaragua, they're all going back. And that definitely pissed him off too. And Trump is on record forever saying that when we do these foreign adventures and regime change, that we shouldn't have to pay for it out of pocket. And if a place has oil or minerals or some other natural resource, we should absolutely take them, quote unquote, to pay for this thing, right? And that's exactly what he's doing. So was oil the reason? Was that the primary motivating factor? No, but it definitely helps, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean,
well, I will say. Go ahead. Go ahead. No.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say. I will say this. It is about oil, but not in the way everybody wants to think. Because think about this for a second. Where does China get 70% of its oil? Well, 65% of its oil from?
Oh, from Venezuela.
Yeah. Guess where they're not getting oil from anymore? So all these little war games they've been trying to freak Taiwan out about. Guess what you can't do without oil?
Can't run military.
I have never in my life ever not unironically said that I feel like Trump is playing 4D chess, because I hate it when people say this. But if he can actually stick to this, he's neutered China and Russia and made the Western Hemisphere 10 times more safe than it was a week ago.
Yeah, I would certainly agree with that. Or, there could be also a balkanization going on here. We don't know exactly what's going on in Venezuela. But just like I had a little bit of insight into where Maduro is right now, I do know a little something from a birdie of mine about what Trump's ultimate plan is. And here it is, folks. Welcome to the United States of Amazonia. We got some land deals going to be going on. I particularly like the coast of Long Dakota myself. Little Montana, probably a nice little garden spot as well. Where would you want to settle in?
I don't know. I'm kind of thinking South New York looks kind of cool.
I mean, it does come with the stain of the New York name. The People's Republic of New York doesn't get off that easily.
We're trying to redeem it, sir. That's the whole point.
Well, I personally think Little Montana might be a nice place to go. Southern Alaska also sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, Southern Alaska would probably be my second choice, because at least then I could be I live in Alaska and it's not cold.
But come on, Long Dakota. Come on. Come on. Whoever came up with this meme, chef's kiss. Great job. Excellent job.
And Gene, real quick on that graphic, right? Because we have like a good chat going on over here.
Chat is hopping, by the way.
The left, people on the left and people who claim they're not on the left, but they want to claim they're independent or unaffiliated, whatever, right? If you're not to the right of Rush Limbaugh, then you're a leftist, in my view. People on the left side of the spectrum always have a problem when America uses its power in our own national interest, right? So like Venezuela is a good example of that. They have no problem if we go send troops on the ground to stop a quote unquote Holocaust or genocide in Rwanda, right? They'll have no problem sending soldiers there for that. But whenever it's something in our own hemisphere, a guy that's sending drugs and letting our adversaries from another hemisphere into our hemisphere, the leftists always have a problem when an American president uses military force in our own best interest, right? And that's the dead giveaway, right? That's the tell. It's the same thing with the police. When the left has no problem, parading out police officers during the January 6th mostly peaceful protest and saying that they support law enforcement, but then an ICE agent almost gets killed today by a lesbian driving a truck into him, and now all police are batting him. See how the left works.
and we will be getting into that momentarily. But I highlighted this comment here from IB Things. I'm going to use that for short, by the way. I hope you don't mind. And do the Venezuelan innocent people deserve to die? I don't know
when did they die?
But let's talk about the reaction of the Venezuelan people here in America, those refugees, hundreds of thousands of them across the country. I did find this clip from one of those stupid protests in the People's Republic of New York City of a man from Venezuela confronting these protesters. And IB Things comment made me think to play this because, unless I'm mistaken, IB Things, I don't know if you're from Venezuela or not, but this man is, so I think his opinion is worth hearing.
You are not from my country. What part of Venezuela you are? 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 You are not from my country. You are from my country. You are not from my country. You are not from my country.
No volverá.
So I think I'll take his position, and I'll say it's a little more credible than any of the protesters out there talking about Venezuela.
Pete, are you saying hysterical liberal white women don't know better than a Venezuelan that fled his country to come here for safety?
I am so glad you mentioned that because I have a great video of hysterical white woman in Michigan, and I want you to watch what happens here. This is a woman who went on TV for an interview to talk about Venezuela, because I'm sure she knows everything about geopolitics and this hemisphere's political balance and all that. I couldn't believe I found this, but check this out. This is from yesterday. And by the way, that previous clip was from freedomnews.tv. Check them out on X at freedomntv. But this clip is coming from a news station in, I believe, Grand Rapids.
This is not just a foreign issue. It's our tax dollars that are also being used to commit these war crimes. It is also the duty of us, the people, to stand against the Trump regime, the Trump administration, that are committing crimes both here in the U.S. and against people in Venezuela. That are also being used to commit these war crimes.
Hang on. I'll get back to that point where we were, but watch what happens after she makes a point here.
The Trump administration that are committing crimes both here in the U.S. and against people in Venezuela.
Now, in the background of this interview, you could see that police car. And now right here, we're showing you video we have. Immediately after the interview finished, Plickta was arrested by 2 Grand Rapids police officers. You can see it in the video. And an officer tells Plickta that she is being arrested for obstructing a roadway and failure to obey a lawful command from a police officer. You can see as she's taken away in that car, she was issuing a number of messages about...
Chef's kiss.
Dun, dun.
I absolutely love that. That was fantastic.
Well, so I don't know who the officers were, but I want to give them kudos for actually enforcing the law about not being able to block a roadway. That would solve so many problems if people would just start going back to actually enforcing the laws as written.
Yeah. By the way, IB Things, we care because the name of the channel is Buffoon of the Week. And we love pointing and laughing at buffoons. It's part of what we do. You're new here, so you'll get used to it. But yeah, I absolutely love seeing things like that. But Ross, these protesters, what exactly are they protesting? What's the deal here?
Bro, do they know? Honestly, first of all, on any given day of the week, on a weekday, how do these people not have something else better to do? Jobs, families, like... They always find themselves in the streets, always with free time, always speaking like some of our people in the chat, like, unconstitutional or whatever. Like, they have no clue of what they're actually talking about. Couldn't point to, like, Venezuela on a map if they had to. It's just really astonishing that so many people in our country who are, quote-unquote, educated have such strong opinions about things that they know nothing about at all.
Yeah.
I love how the new person keeps pointing out that they don't feel like we know anything about the Constitution. I'm really confused by this.
I mean, listen, it's a conclusory statement that has no basis in fact whatsoever. I happen to be an attorney, by the way, for those of you who may be new to the channel. Ross has, I believe you have a master's degree, and you also are a lifelong member of the military and you're familiar with the Uniform Code of Military Justice, familiar with your constitutional duties. Rick has also served in law enforcement as well and has upheld the Constitution, sworn an oath to it as well. You're looking at 3 oath keepers in a sense of people who have supported to defend the Constitution in one way or another. We've read it multiple times. I will assure you of that. I want to get to this clip because we talked about how stupid the protesters were, right? This is from the independent journalist Nate Friedman. You may have been seeing him on social media. I know I see him a lot on Instagram. Let's talk about the stupidity of these protesters right now.
I'm organized with the Revolutionary Communists of America. We're out here to say hands off Venezuela, and we unequivocally stand with the people of Venezuela against U.S. imperialist aggression.
What do you think about the people of Venezuela celebrating on the streets?
What?
What? I love it.
What?
Yeah, these are what we call NPCs, right? These are people who are out there getting paid to protest, showing up, and yeah, I just love that reaction. I need to see it one more time.
People of Venezuela celebrating on the streets.
What?
What? And then Nate Friedman now has to explain it to him what reality is for Venezuelans.
What do you think about the people of Venezuela celebrating on the streets today?
I saw images of Venezuelans being bombed after the U.S., bombed Caracas. So I'm not sure what you're talking about, but yeah, I think you should definitely
show me the bombings that you're talking about. I didn't see any.
I don't know. I just saw it on Reddit. It was on the front page of the internet.
Reddit.
So
Okay.
I don't know.
But what do you think about the people celebrating? The hundreds of thousands of people.
And this is the brain rot of this younger protest generation. I just saw it on Reddit, guys. That's where I'm getting my news from, Reddit. Are you kidding me? Ross, I know you're no longer in the People's Republic of New York City, but this is, it's the cause du jour, right? It's the same people who show up for the same things. They put away their Palestinian flags and they exchange it for a Venezuelan flag or a Ukrainian flag or a Somalian flag or whatever the case may be. And we end up with these cause heads that's what they called them back in the day, at least when I was in college, who just pick up the cause of the day and they run with it.
Well, cause heads or low testosterone males and hysterical white women. That is, let's just be honest, right? That's the group. If you look at it, like, did you see the way the guy was wearing his hat with his bangs sticking out? Like, that's not your typical guy that you'd like to hang out and have a beer with, right? The guy is a loser. He goes to some liberal college, most likely. Very low testosterone, and he just goes out and says whatever Rachel Maddow says. Like, it's embarrassing.
I'm gonna go back to the clip and then we'll get Rick's thoughts.
I have yet to see it. Can you show me that?
Yeah.
Sure. U.S. imperialism.
People celebrating on the streets here. What do you think about that?
At the end of the day, I stand with the people of Venezuela against U.S. imperialism. The U.S. has no right to bomb the people of Venezuela. The U.S. has no right to kidnap another
Why
leader
are they
of another.
Celebrating? Why are they celebrating?
I don't know. Do you have a correspondent there who can ask? I'm here demonstrating against. I'm here demonstrating against U.S. imperialism and the U.S. intervention.
Is this AI though? These images of everybody
I don't know.
celebrating?
You're the one showing me the video, so let me know. You're showing me the source. I don't know.
I don't think it's AI because it's being published by multiple news organizations. So just what are your thoughts on it?
I'm here protesting U.S. intervention,
I understand that.
U.S. imperialism, and U.S. capitalism.
And that's why he's an NPC. I stand with the people of Venezuela against U.S. imperialism. That's the only thing he can say. It's his stock answer.
Well, he threw in that last bit about capitalism. So my thoughts on this, and this is to kind of address some of what's going on in the chat. Everybody's acting like we had no reason to go in and do what we did in the first place. One, dude had a warrant. Two, everybody forgets that when the guy before this idiot nationalized their oil industry, they stole a bunch of our shit. We had the mineral rights there. We negotiated them. They stole them from us. So these are the same people that keep telling us that we shouldn't be on this land anymore because we stole it from the Indians. Well, guess what? That asshole stole our mineral rights and we went in and took them back. Why are you not cheering?
Yeah. Hey, Ross, you wanna respond to this comment? Why this guy talking about low testosterone? Do it, man. Tell everybody. Inquiring minds want to know.
I just responded to him. I'm the next one down. Eat a dick, soy boy.
Okay. It's getting rowdy in the chat. And listen, by the way, everybody in the chat, we respect your opinions, even the wrong ones. It's totally okay. And I'm glad that you're here with us to discuss it, because we don't want to live in an echo chamber. We want to hear what you people are out there saying, even the wrong ones we want to hear. So you're more than welcome to stay. You're more than welcome to subscribe. I will not shy away. As you've been seeing, we've been posting comments from people who don't agree with us. And I hope you hang out with us. Everybody, I hope you're here to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any other shows. Like, follow wherever you are, whether it be on YouTube, on Rumble, on X, where we are simulcasting everywhere. Got a nice, robust chat, and I'm loving every minute of it. So that's
Gene
the first
M.
Go ahead.
Gene's a much nicer guy than me. If you don't agree with me, I hope terrible things happen to you.
And that's why the show has balance. That's how we're able to balance everything out together. So, so we got 2 more M's to go with. We got Minnesota or Mamdani tonight. I do want to touch on every subject because, again, this is our first show back. A lot of shit's been going on. Let's get to as much as we can. Let's span the globe as much as we can. Oh wait, yes, Mamdani. That's my Brooklyn accent right there talking. I do want to get to his inauguration speech and that one line that everybody has been talking about with Mamdani. Let's check this out right now.
For too long, those fluent in the good grammar of civility have deployed decorum to mask agendas of cruelty. Many of these people have been betrayed by the established order. But in our administration, their needs will be met. Their hopes and dreams and interests will be reflected transparently in government. They will shape our future. And if for too long these communities have existed as distinct from one another, we will draw this city closer together. We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism. If our campaign demonstrated that the people of New York yearn for solidarity, then let this government foster it. Because no matter what you eat, how you pray, or where you come from, the words that most define us are the 2 we all share: New Yorkers.
Yeah, it sounds like a nice, neat little package there. But, man, that is a scary, scary beginning to the Mamdani administration. And you know what? The People's Republic of New York, we've called it that for, God, was it 10 years now, pal? More than that?
Over.
Oh, 15 maybe even. I mean, we started doing stuff with different shows, and oh my God, it's been 15 years.
Yeah, it's been 15 years.
Wow. Are you a rugged individualist, Galloway?
I gotta be honest, man. I like Mamdani. I am happy that he won. This is a great experiment in the laboratory of democracy, and I'm looking forward to the outcome. The only thing that I ask, and most of you guys know this already, I have fled New York to an undisclosed location, and we don't want any of you. So, like, if you didn't leave yet, it's too late. Like, now we don't want to screw up the experiment, so we have to see how it turns out. You have to stay. So stay, ride it out, and we'll check back in on you every year or so.
Yeah, and Rick, the first order of business for the Mamdani experiment is to go after property rights, basically. This is a clip from during the campaign that was on Meet the Press on NBC, so socialists talking to socialists. And check this out. Let's give everybody a refresher about the Mamdani property tax plan.
There's a policy proposal that says your plan, and I'm going to quote it for folks, is to shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods. Explain why you are bringing race into your tax proposal.
That is just a description of what we see right now. It's not driven by race. It's more of an assessment of what neighborhoods are being undertaxed versus overtaxed.
So no plans to change that language on your website?
The focus here is to actually ensure a fair property tax system, and that the use of that language is just an assessment of the neighbor.
Everybody likes to talk about fairness. They cloak their socialism and their failed ideas in the warmth of fairness. Rick, your thoughts?
Well, as my grandfather always pointed out to me, there is no such thing as fair in life unless you're in Oklahoma in September, because that's when the state fair comes. That's the only fairness you're ever going to face. But
wow,
I will say this. I will say this.
Wait, before you continue, the Galloway, the bar for jokes for 2026 has been set really low by Rick. We're all going to be able to hop over it anytime soon. So just want to.
It's early.
Hey, I had to set the bar low. It's the beginning of the year. I don't want you guys to strain yourselves. But
yeah,
so
measuring expectations, yes.
But back to this thing about the fairness of property taxes and going after white neighborhoods. What I really, really love is the awful that he's put in charge of some of this. Who's now talking about how property ownership is a sign of white supremacy while she's living in a $1.5 million home that she owns.
Oh, are you talking about CEO Weaver?
Yeah, I can't remember her name, but that sounds
yes. Right. Well, let's show everybody what Rick is talking about.
I think the reality is that for centuries we've really treated property as an individualized good and not a collective good, and we are going to transitioning to treating it as a collective good and towards a model of shared equity will require that we think about it differently, and it will mean that families, especially white families, but some POC families who are homeowners as well, are going to have a different relationship to property than the one that we currently have.
We're transitioning, Galloway, to a different type of relationship with property. You will own nothing.
What is it with leftists in the word transition?
Gene, for the rest of the show, I want you to talk in that up talk way that she was talking. For the rest of the show, we're going to talk like that because it makes me sound so much smarter. Fucking moron. So let me just say something. A lot of times, liberals are right for the wrong reasons. Property taxes are fundamentally unfair, right? There's really nothing else you could think of that you buy property, land, a house, and then have to pay the government every year for the right to live on your property or in your house, right? So they're right just for the wrong reasons. Governor DeSantis wants to eliminate property taxes because they are fundamentally unfair. Once I buy this good or product or home from another private person, why do I have to pay the government every year for the right to keep it? It doesn't make any sense.
Absolutely right.
So we'll experiment in New York, and we'll let white people pay higher property taxes, and we'll see how that turns out. I'm okay with it. Let's do it.
And the experiment, Rick, also includes Mamdani interceding into a private bankruptcy proceeding involving a landlord who's selling his property because of violations on the property, and he doesn't want it to transfer to another landlord with those same violations. And also with having property hearings where the People's Republic of New York City will be taking property away from people that they think shouldn't be owning that property anymore. What an experiment,
right.
Huh?
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite things about the whole supposed New York City slumlords is there's already enough rent control going on in that area that half the reason why the buildings are falling apart is because they can't charge enough to be able to have people in them and be able to repair them. Now Mamdani thinks he's going to be able to come in with some sort of a magic wand and make it all better. If that were the case, then I wouldn't have already heard 150 some odd people complaining on social media the day that the now free subway system went up to $3.
Oh, it's not a free subway system. It's never been a free subway system. They want to do the free buses is what they want to do. It's not even the subways know it's too much of a cash cow for them to want that. Well, and by the way, if you want to sit and piss, then you should pay for that privilege. I'm sorry, I stepped all over you, pal. Go ahead, say what you said.
No, I was going to say at one point he was saying it about the subway system too, but I don't know if it was the buses or the subways, but I saw something went up like 2 days after he was sworn in, and everybody's like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, meanwhile, for those of you who don't know, the mayor does not control the MTA. It is a state authority. While they have some say on who gets to sit on the MTA board, Mamdani can't control the MTA. That's Hochul and the MTA board itself. But enough about the wonk.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm going to have to request that you call her. I'm going to have to request. I'm going to have to request that you call her by her actual name. That's Governor Hoochie Cooch. Thank you very much.
I would not even want to visualize that. I don't know why you would want. Wow, look at that. Half the audience just dropped off because of that. God damn it. Anyways,
you're welcome.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Time to get to the final M, and that is for the theme of the show, Minnesota. Whole lot shaking in Minnesota, especially today as we are streaming this live, talking about the shooting that occurred in Minneapolis involving an ICE agent and a woman in an SUV. And depending upon who you believe, one side is saying that this is a cold-blooded murder. The other side is saying that this is an act of self-defense. Gentlemen, I'm not going to play the video of the incident on here because I don't want to get booted off of YouTube. We like talking to people. And maybe we'll, I'll put it up on Rumble later or whatever. But
it's already on YouTube, so it's interesting to see you get kicked off for something that's already there. But
listen, I don't want to risk it. I kind of like broadcasting to the people that we're talking to right now. I like talking to everybody. I'm the nice guy, remember? Really, I am. But I'm sure you've all seen the video. Ross, I'm going to start with you. Your reaction to that news and what you saw in that video.
Everybody saw the video. Clearly justified shooting. But what I want to say is this, especially for the people out there that we don't know anything about the Constitution. This is clearly, by the way, what's going on.
He's got a grudge. Yes,
but this is very clearly insurrection. This is there is no better textbook definition than this. What's going on in Minnesota right now? You have state and local government officials openly saying that they're not going to acknowledge the supremacy clause of the United States. Right? They want to quote Mayor Frey. His message to ICE is to get the fuck out of Minnesota, get out Minneapolis, right? They're encouraging these people to go out there and do what happened today, which led to that lesbian rioter's death. She tried to run over an ICE officer. She fucked around and found out, and now she's gone, right? Lesson learned. When the police surround your vehicle until you get out of the car, you don't put it in drive and try to run one of them down. And I just want to say this, Gene. A recent Supreme Court decision said that Trump could not preemptively activate or federalize National Guard soldiers to assist ICE. They actually said, which I thought was interesting, that he has to exhaust regular forces first, which means the Marine Corps, the United States Army, the 101st Airborne Division, right? And I do think Trump is going to take them up on this, right? Because you can't have federal law enforcement officers going into localities to enforce federal law. And not only do you have a population of leftists that are fighting them, openly fighting them, but you have the state and local government officials encouraging them and also participating in it, right? This is open insurrection. This is a rebellion. It has to be put down.
Rick, take over. You can go from here, man.
The mayor of Minneapolis is either a lying hypocrite or just a motherfucking liar, because one of the things that drove me crazy today was him saying, after seeing the video, I can tell you that the whole thing about this being self-defense is bullshit. For those of you that have seen the video, because it's all over the place, you can clearly see that there was an officer trying to reach into the vehicle to get her to turn off the car. What you can't see in that frame is the fact that there was already an officer in front of the vehicle, who's the one that ultimately fired the shot that killed her, in the front of the windshield. And for those of you who don't understand how forensics works, when windshields shatter, when something hits them, you can tell which direction it was coming from based on the spiderweb pattern. Based on where that bullet hit and the pattern of how the glass broke, the officer was standing in front of a vehicle that was speeding towards him when he fired the first shot. That was the one that actually killed her.
Yeah, I love how all the super sleuths were out there trying to look at a video and trying to discern from different angles and everything. Like everyone was Gene Steratore in the NFL, looking at the instant replay of what happened, trying to figure out what happened. When the boots on the ground can tell you enough that the ICE agent involved in the shooting was hospitalized for being struck by a car. In fact, Ross, I believe this was the second time that day he was struck by a vehicle.
It wasn't the second. I don't think it was the second time that day. I know the guy that I think the guy that fired the shot was drugged by a vehicle by like in June, but I don't know if it was.
Okay, so it was a separate incident on a separate day. I sit corrected on that. I don't want to spread no misinformation or disinformation out there.
And it wasn't only the second time that he got drugged, right? Everybody sees the snapshot of the video, and obviously, if you see all the different angles, what Rick is saying is 100% true. What also was going on in the minutes and probably hours prior to that is that there were large crowds forming. Local police were not responding to subdue those crowds. Ambush type blockades were being set up, and that's what this woman was doing. Make no mistake about it, blocking these agents in on narrow streets, right? And they have to get out of there, right? You can't impede federal law enforcement. They created the situation. She put herself in that situation. What I find the ultimate irony, Gene, is that the leftists, some of them in this chat too, I'm sure, that would totally say that Ashley, what's her name?
Babbitt.
Oh my God. Babbitt deserved what she got on January 6th. An unarmed white woman climbing through a window, right, deserved to get shot in the neck and killed by a police officer, right? But this one that was ramming into a federal officer with her car, it was somehow murdered, right? Make that make sense. Square those for me, Gene.
Well, not only that, and I there's no way to square it, by the way. It's just in opposite. But then you have, as you mentioned, Jacob Fry going out there saying this is BS and get the fuck out of Minneapolis and all that. And Tim Walz, who really, man, shut your mouth after all the shit you've been going through this year, going out saying that he is going to activate the National Guard to confront federal officers. Galloway, you know something about that. That's not how this works. That's actually quite the Jefferson Davis move, actually, when you think about it.
Tim Walz is not a smart man. I think we all knew this already, judging by last year's election. What he's planning on doing is actually going to trigger what the Supreme Court said would allow Trump to federalize the National Guard. If Trump declares an insurrection, which, a state mobilizing its National Guard against the federal government would be, again, textbook definition of an insurrection or a rebellion, then Trump could easily federalize them and take control over his forces. So that might be the dumbest thing he proposed doing, and he's proposed a number of dumb things over the last few weeks.
Yeah, and let's actually get to one of those dumb things. And Rick, I'll let you comment on this. This is, of course, after Tim Walz embroiled in scandal with his leering centers that are being funded fraudulently in his state. This is him speaking about what is going to be happening with him in the last 11 months of his administration. If you can follow along with this rambling, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling diatribe, is all I can really call it, then you're a better man than me, Rick. Check this out.
The best state. Have I been perfect in this? God dang no. I wasn't perfect as a teacher. I wasn't perfect as a coach. I wasn't perfect as a soldier, but I was pretty damn good at all those things.
Bullshit. Moving on.
And I am committed to getting this right. And I will tell you what, if they think now, game's over for them now. It was all me. I was the bad guy or whatever. Well, put up or shut up now and tell us what you're going to do to make this state better. Answer these tough questions. Quit hiding behind this and expect for the next 11 months for me to ride you like you've never been ridden.
Oh, the word choice. Oh, the word choice.
Oh, boy.
We're going to stop it there for a second. Let me get your initial thoughts, Rick. Go ahead.
I'm not really afraid of this man saying he's going to ride me for one, because
I am.
No, but I'm not. He wouldn't be able to get anywhere near me to be able to do it. But seriously, all of this, especially for this to be, right around the anniversary of January 6th, this is the most insurrection-y shit I've ever heard. You've got the governor of Minnesota basically saying he's going to spin up his own National Guard. And for everybody who's like, oh my God, he's calling up the National Guard. If you think he's going to call them up to assist ICE agents, you're insane. He's going to try to pit them against ICE agents is what he's going to try to do. And that is exactly what is about to happen. this is all insanity to me, because the scary thing is, as much as I am probably pretty sure I never would have wanted to have anything to do with the Lickalotopus hanging out in the Honda Pilot, she didn't deserve to die. If they were just honoring ICE detainers, ICE would never have to be there in the first place, other than just to go, oh, you got another one? Let's go get him and we'll transfer him for you. They wouldn't be having to do the door-to-door sweeps. They wouldn't be having to do the things that have all the liberals with their panties in a bunch, because, we're tired of people being able to illegally come into the country and do whatever the hell they want, and apparently steal billions and billions of dollars from us in the process and send it back to their home countries. We haven't even really talked about that part of what's going on in Minnesota. You guys realize they've stolen more from us than the entire GDP of the fucking country that they came from?
We're going to get to that in a moment as well here, but I'm looking at this comment. Bud Russell. I don't know if there's anybody in your friends, pal. Have you ever seen Walls' Crazy-Eyed Wife? I'm going to go look it up right now, but as I'm doing that...
she's completely
go ahead,
insane. Pal. Yeah. Well, and I want to just piggyback on what Rick said. I agree. She didn't deserve to die, right? And I do blame, the government for her death in a lot of ways. And I don't mean the ICE agent. I mean the lack of consequences for people over the last several years, right? They've gotten into their minds that you can do whatever you want. You can go into a store, fill up your bag, and walk out, and nothing's going to happen to you. You can tell a cop to go fuck himself and pull off, and he'll chase you down, and he's not going to use lethal force on you because they can't, right? This lack of consequences is destroying the country, right? And then when there's an administration like the Trump administration that said, no, if you spit on us, we're going to hit you, right? If you do something to us, we're going to lock you the fuck up. Now, all of a sudden, there's consequences, and a lot of these people that are not used to ever having consequences, and you see this a lot, by the way, in minority communities where policing is lax and they're afraid to enforce the law, they get out of control pretty quickly, right? And then, in particular, women, right? They have very few consequences. Women will usually go over the top in an argument with a man, whether it's a police officer or anyone else on the street, because they're just not used to being in a physical confrontation. That's why a lot of female cops get their asses kicked, right? Because they usually deal with 90% of good people. And then when they run into that one, that 10% of dirtbags out there, they get their ass kicked because their mouth gets them in trouble, right? And that's why I do think she didn't deserve to die, but she was raised in an age where her, the circle she travels in, no matter what vicious thing she said, or she probably cheered on Charlie Kirk's death, there were no consequences for this woman. And she ran into the wrong guy, and she fucked around and found out, and she got what she needed. She got a full dose of leticillin.
Well, I mean, the whole point. Go ahead. I keep stepping.
I'll let you get your thought out. I just want to say this comment here. Jesus called for us to be the salt of the earth. What does salt do? Melt ice. I'll give it to you. That's witty, even if you're on the wrong side of the argument. But that's fine. Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, well, most of these people wouldn't know Jesus if he sat next to them, for one. But that's another story. Anyway, so the thing with all of this, again, this is what's happening.
Okay.
This is what happens when the everybody gets a trophy generation meets up with real life consequences.
Certainly, yes. Now I understand the whole crazy guys comment. Yeah, absolutely. But the one thing we haven't talked about, we talked about Walls's comments. By the way, we can continue on with Walls's comments because he actually ends up saying that, will I resign over my dead body and all that? And we know he's insane. But let's get to because this is our first show of the new year, and we didn't really talk in the last few weeks about what's been going on with all this fraud and all the Leering centers and all that. I do want to go back in time a little bit and I'm going to start with what's going on this week and then move on to what we've seen prior. This is Congressman Brandon Gill. There was a hearing in the House in one of the committees looking into the fraud and waste and criminality going on with a lot of this child care funding going into Minnesota, and how it all surrounds the community, the Somali community. And Congressman Gill had a lot to say about that.
Again, thank you for being here. Let me ask you, does large-scale Somali immigration make Minnesota stronger or weaker?
Certainly stronger.
Certainly stronger. Do you know what percentage of Somali-headed households in Minnesota are on food stamps?
No.
54%. Do you know what that number is for native Minnesota-headed households?
Well, to be clear, a majority of the
It's 7%. There's a big difference between 54% and 7%, is there not?
Excuse me, sir. Could I answer the question?
Let me move on. We've got a lot of questions here. What percentage of Somali-headed households in Minnesota are on Medicaid?
I don't know.
It's 73%. Do you know what that number is for Minnesota native households?
Again, you're using the phrase Minnesota native households, but the majority...
The number is 18%. That's quite an astounding difference. I think we would agree.
Can I answer the question, please?
Let me ask you one more, and then we can go on to that. What percentage of Somali-headed households are on welfare in general?
I don't know.
It's 81%. What about, let me just ask you, after 10 years of being in the United States, what percentage of Somali immigrant households continue to be on welfare?
I don't know.
The number is 78%. So even after 10 years, 78% of Somali immigrant households continue to be on welfare. Do you know what that number is for native Minnesota-headed households?
Again, you're using
non-Somali immigrant-headed households.
If I can just answer the question, when you're using the phrase native Minnesotans, the majority of Somali Minnesotans are as Minnesotan as any of us. They were born in the United States. It's only 8,000 of the 108,000 Somali.
Nevertheless, the welfare usage is astoundingly different. Let me ask you again, does that make Minnesota stronger or weaker?
Again, I'd like the opportunity to answer the question here.
Go for it.
Again, the majority of Somali Minnesotans are born in the United States, as I understand it.
Okay, well, what percentage of working age Somalians who have been in the U.S. for 10 years or more, how many of them speak English very well?
I don't know.
About half. The answer is about half. That seems pretty low, doesn't it?
Again,
Mr.
Yeah. So that doesn't exactly sound like a population, a segment of society that is contributing to the richness of the American way of life. Sounds like a group of takers. And as Bud Russell is saying here, 89% of all Somalian population in Minnesota with at least one child is getting welfare and Medicare paid for by state and federal taxes. Google is a tool.
Well,
use it.
Well,
Well,
I mean,
there's
that's-
some
well,
other
that's just
tools
it.
in the chat, by the way. But just saying.
Well, that's just it with this whole thing is, every other country gets to decide, who gets to come in, what the requirements are for them to be here, and a lot of places have really high bars. Like you have to prove that you have enough income to support yourself. You have to prove this, you have to prove that. And they're just like, we should just let everybody that wants to come in here. And I'm going to say, because I am fixing to have to jump because I'm going to have to change feeds in a second. So to close out my portion of the program, and thank you for having me on, I would say this to all of the people who think we should have open borders, unless you're living with your windows unlocked, your doors unlocked, and the keys in your car with it unlocked, I don't want to hear it because you're protecting your own property much the way we want to protect our country. So,
all right, listen, before you go, tell everybody about KLRN, what's coming up tonight, what's coming up during the week. We are back kicking on all cylinders on KLRN radio. Tell us where to find it on X and where to listen and all that good stuff.
You can find it on X, on YouTube, on Rumble, on Facebook, all under @KLRN Radio. You can also find us at klrnradio.com. You can find me at RowdyVic73. And for those who are so inclined, Amish and I will be kicking off the Rick and Morty show here in about a couple minutes. So right about the time that Gene and Ross wrap up, you can come hang out with us over there. That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. Check them out on X. Rick, you're the man. You can pop off anytime you want. We really appreciate you coming hanging out. Happy New Year, pal, and best to the family.
Happy New Year, man. Thanks for having me on. Bye, guys.
Great to see you, man. All right, pal. So, listen, I'll let you get the last word, and then final thought time.
No, I'm good for the final thought here.
Okay, well, I just want to play this one thing.
By the way, Gene.
Go ahead.
All right, no, before you play out one thing, let me just say this. More than half of my comments are being scrubbed here by YouTube. You have to unmute me or whatever you got going on here.
I have no control over it. I have no control over it, but I will review the settings.
Yeah, I mean, there are
maybe
people
start
using the
chatting
word
to Rumble.
Nazi, and then I replied using the word Nazi, and I can't post my comment.
I gotta figure that out, but maybe go on Rumble and use that chat because I have like an amalgamated chat here that I can always see and use. But I'll figure that out for you. I saw this clip. I'll make this part of my final thought. I saw this clip after the whole news broke from Nick Shirley about all of the fraud going on in the Somali community with all these child care centers, and they started to the left started to try to posture and show that this is an amazing community of people and all that, and they brought up this one woman to talk about what's going on in the community vis-a-vis this fraud that Nick Shirley found. And to say that she fucked up is an understatement. Listen to this real quick.
I'm not much of a good speaker, but I'll try my best.
Got it.
My name is Deco Noor. I'm a parent who receives federal funding for childcare for my kiddo. Over 20,000 kids will lose access to childcare programs. And that, that 20,000, thousands of children rely on childcare, and thousands of parents rely on childcare. Therefore, if childcare will, oh my God.
Humana.
I'm currently a medical student. I rely on childcare. I work. If childcare is cut, I'm unable to work or go to school. I understand fraud is bad.
She said the quiet part out loud. And then they shut her down. There's a lot of humana. Fraud is bad, and I fucked up. There you go.
She just works and goes to school, Gene. She's a future doctor or astronaut.
That's it. Future doctor, not a future public speaker, that's for sure. So I'll let that be my final thought. We're going to have a lot of fun here with this brand new format we're doing. By the way, for those of you who don't know, we're doing this as a portrait and landscape on YouTube. 2 different feeds, 2 different ways you can get involved with the show. Lots of people coming to stop by. If you're out there, you like what you hear. If you don't like what you hear, you want to heckle us, you want to troll us, we welcome that as well. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any shows. Follow us. Check out buffoonoftheweek.com. The website is back up and running. You can check out our merch store on YouTube, also at shop.buffoonoftheweek.com. All that good stuff. Your last thought, pal, because I see you're having a lot of fun in the chat.
Listen, my last thought is one that I've had several times on the show. Listen, time is running out, right? We're 1 year into Trump's possibly last term in office. We got 3 left. We have less than a year left with this Congress. A lot of people like me might say good because the Republicans do suck. But the Republicans have one tool that they need to use to possibly not only save themselves, but the Republic. They have to eliminate the filibuster. I've said this a million times. Now there's more people getting on board. Donald Trump is on board. Eliminate the filibuster in the Senate. That is not in the Constitution. Ram everything down these leftist throats. Everything. Pass the SAVE Act. The SAVE Act, which makes it illegal for illegal immigrants to vote in our elections, and we could actually require voter ID to vote, right? Who's against that? Hardcore leftist Democrats. Pass that. Mass deportations and denaturalizations. Pass that, right? I would love to see some of the people in this chat get denaturalized and thrown the fuck out of our country, right? But the only way we could do that is by eliminating the filibuster and then do an immigration moratorium for the indefinite future, right? We have enough people here. Gene is nice. He said he doesn't care what any of them are like as long as they love America. Fuck that. We have enough people here. I don't need any more Somalis here, period. I don't care if they come here and they love the place. I don't want them here, okay? Maybe we should get some more Italians and Irish and Englishmen here. Good ones, not leftists, the good ones, right? To balance this place out a little bit again, right? But I'm not okay with what's going on now. Eliminate the filibuster, ram it down their throat. Spoiler alert, we won't. The Republican Party sucks, and we are doomed. So just ride out the next 3 years. We got Trump, hopefully for the rest of this term, and maybe one more if we're lucky, but enjoy the ride. That's my final thought.
Yeah, and listen, all the trolls out there that are joining us for the show, step up your game. I'm laughing at you. You're not making a dent. I really wish you'd try harder. You're going with the whole he's a bad person from WW2. You're dumb. You're ignorant. You're trying to push buttons. Do you understand? You're here with two New Yorkers that just don't give a shit.
Pathetic.
Listen, in the words of someone we used to work with, pathetic. My goodness. Up your game. Come back next week and try harder. You're not doing a great job. But until next week, where hopefully you will redouble your efforts. I'm Gene. He's Ross. We are behind enemy lines. And, pal, you think it's time to shut this motherfucker down or what?
Let's get out of here. It's time to drink, Gene.
Let's get out of here. Let's get to the bars. We'll talk to you guys later. Gene Ross, Behind Enemy Lines. We'll see you next week. We are out of here. Let's play that motherfucking anthem. Good night.
Not allowed, not without electoral.
Go fuck yourself. Is that clear?
Teeth don't let them have sway. Conservative battalions walking them out, marching through the streets while the buffoons all shout. Move in the shadows, flag on my chest, repping my clan, putting faith to the test. Cause love pays blues behind enemy lines, fighting for the truth, feels like wartime. Don't back down, keep it rocking and roll. Cool in the chaos, but loud in the roar. But loud in the roar. Our chance. If I ever stare with a smirk and a gaze, holding down the fort in this Democrat case.